Occasionally, when I'm having a conversation with someone, just a casual conversation, they will say, "What is the most important thing about speaking?" Well, the most important thing is connecting. And the two things that I will tell them so that they can make that connection are, number one, it's not about you. And you can watch the video on that one because it really is a life changer. The second thing is, don't open your mouth till your brain is in gear. For some reason, it is a huge temptation for people to start the moment they stand up, whether they are introducing themselves at a meeting or they're speaking to thousands of people. Big mistake. Usually they suddenly find out there is a surprise coming out of their mouths that they weren't expecting. And now they have to backpedal and figure out how to dig themselves out. Sometimes people say to me, well, the reason I start immediately is because I don't want them to think I've forgotten what I'm going to say. Actually, it has an opposite effect. And if we could think about the divers in the Olympics for a moment, think about those high divers that walk out onto the end of the board to do a standing high dive. They stand on the end of that board. It seems like forever. And I don't remember ever worrying about, oh no, they forgot the dive. Because they're standing on a diving board, they are focused, they're standing like a diver. They look like a diver, and you can just tell they aren't going to dive until they know they are ready and going to get it right. And it's the same with speaking. You're in front of an audience. You are standing like a speaker. You are focused. You are thinking about what you're going to say. They are not worried that you are not going to remember what you're going to say. As a matter of fact, think about how impressed you would be if the diver walked out to the end of the board and just dived in. It would not give you a better impression of how important that dive was. Now, if you don't wait until your brain is in gear, I can almost guarantee you, you will be unhappy with the outcome. And your audience probably will be too. You need to take a moment to gather yourself to make sure you know who you are, where you are, what you're doing there. It's a little bit like on the plane, the safety instructions, they tell you to put on your oxygen mask first. Because if you pass out, you are of no use to anybody else. And it's the same with speaking. If you pass out, you're of no use to anybody else. Get your oxygen mask on first. Get focused. Be clear on what you're doing there. And then what you say is going to be much more the point that you want to make and much more clear. My mentor used to say, Jessica Summers Driver, fear makes you hurry. Poise lets you pause. The key here really is silence. Silence is your friend. If you start off being comfortable with silence, then you will probably go all the way through the talk having pauses wherever the idea calls for it, and not racing off at the end, but waiting there quietly while the audience absorbs your point. Silence is your friend. And if you don't start until your brain is in gear, it will do wonders for your opening. And everything that follows it will also be better. Really, don't start until your brain is in gear.